Hey everyone, welcome to today's amazing story where we're diving into some Jewish secrets. Julie is curious about the history of this apartment, even though the heavy rain outside is pounding away, acting like a Selma percussionist accompanying her confusion. In this cramped space, Julia's thoughts float and pop like colourful bubbles. Tears streamed down her face. Her father-in-law sensed something was off and called her repeatedly, but Julia was playing modern-day Alice, avoiding the call. The next day, she compared prisoner lists at the newspaper, like treasure hunting, but Sara and Michelle's names were missing. Julia believed they might still be alive, and her father-in-law's calls were ringing non-stop like a doorbell, urging her to solve a mystery. Julia felt her father-in-law knew something, but she didn't know how to ask, only to fall into a trap when visiting her grandma. Edward learned Julia was probing the apartment's past and writing on the East Side incident, thinking, "Don't meddle." Edward wanted her to keep the family out of it since his father was that little boy from back then, the one who opened the door for Sara. That day, Edward and his father witnessed everything, and lucky for them, their mother was out and missed this tragic scene, a bit like finding a four-leaf clover. Julia's father was defeated, thinking to himself, "My father is really a duck," a moment that is truly hilarious. We closed the window, but ended up in a worse situation because we couldn't find the key. Talk about a real mess. We never meant to break in, but the kid was already ready to put on a show at the door. Since that incident, the father and son never mentioned Sara's name again. After all, the girl was part of the treasurer of secrets. Whenever Edward asked his father about Sara, his dad would hush him up, as if crucial. After Edward's father passed away, he left a bunch of personal files in the bank safe, and Edward to this day hasn't dared to check. Like treasure hidden in a bank safe, Julia retrieved a box full of documents, and inside was a folder marked with Sara's name, like opening a time capsule. It contained Edward's father's letters and photos of Sara with their grandchild, like a family reunion scrapbook. After reviewing all the correspondence and documents, Julia called Edward, and when he heard the news, it shocked him like a jolt of electricity. For years, Sara had been a regret lingering in his heart, like an unsolved and haunting riddle. After Sara was taken by the old couple, Edward's father often wrote to them and sent 100 francs monthly, as if he was doing charity work. Over time, Sara gradually grew up, working so hard she only stopped when her arms ached. She was truly a hard worker. One time, Sara went on vacation with the old couple to the beach, her first time seeing the sea, and when she came back, it was as if she was possessed by it. She became increasingly mysterious and a bit mad, often staring at the horizon like a little philosopher contemplating life. Soon after, Julia's article about the East Side was published, achieving great success, but she knew deep down that it was far from over. Based on age estimates, Sara should be about Edward's age now, and after a lot of effort, Julia finally received a text from someone named Nat. When Julia met Natalie, she was overjoyed, as if a weight had finally been lifted off her heart, only to find out Natalie had no news about Sara at all. Sara left 50 years ago, leaving behind a note for the old couple that read like an international missing persons case. Although the old couple witnessed Sara's departure, they didn't try to stop her, which was a huge blow for them, like being stuck under a magic spell. Until 1955, they got a letter from Brooklyn, signed Sara and Richard Fred. This meant that Sara started a new life in America, which is both tear-jerking and hopeful. To find Sara, Julia flew solo to the US, on a treasure hunt like an explorer, asking friends to dig up a list of names matching the song. Eventually, outside the rich district, she found Fred's wife, thinking she hit the jackpot and found Sara. Unfortunately, Fred's wife was Maria, not Sara, who died in a car accident 50 years ago, Maria told Julia. According to the truck driver's account, Sara's tire blew, causing her car to crash into a truck, like a dramatic movie scene. Initially, Richard had no desire to remarry. He just wanted to be Sara's husband forever, but time passed and he eventually changed his mind. Sara and Richard had a son named William, who was only 9 when his mother had the accident and now lives in Florence, Italy with his Julia hoped to meet the ailing Fred, but Maria refused her, as if blocking her from digging into painful history. Julia hurried off to Italy as if chasing a dream long gone, wanting to delve deeper into Sara's story. In a restaurant, she met William, only to find he knew nothing of his mother's past, like a confused child wandering without a map. He didn't even know he had an Uncle Michel. When he saw his mother's childhood photo, his eyes widened, shocked to discover he was Jewish. "What are you doing here?" he exclaimed, like a beast stirred from a sweet slumber. "Tell me, was my mum locked up for some reason?" "Isn't that a valid question?" "Sorry. I thought you knew, just like I thought I knew. This is beyond ridiculous." No, I don't want to know the details," he interrupted, as if he was handed a puzzle without the pieces. "Please don't call me again. Enjoy Florence." At that moment, Julia's heart felt like it finally turned a page in the book. While William was hesitant to embrace his Jewish identity, he began to take an interest in his mother's story, like a spy on a mission. Later, he returned to the U.S. to visit his ailing father, and seeing his eldest son Fred made him extremely happy, like finding a lifeline. He understood the purpose of William's visit, and reminiscing about the first time he met Sara was both thrilling and bittersweet. It felt like a memoir of the set. Fred was captivated by Sara's beauty at first sight, yet as time went on, he realized that beneath her exterior lay a deeply sad heart.